Premium SUVs. Premium SUVs. Premium SUVs. Oh, I did not see you there. Welcome to BBC Top Gear Packs in India. And you probably own a car already, don't you? But you might be looking to upgrade to a premium SUV.
And why should you not? Premium SUVs are selling like hotcakes.
Well, you do realize the factor that they actually range from nearly 30 lakhs to 1 crore.
Hey, some are even more than that. But we're talking about sensible options for people who are looking to upgrade to a premium SUV.
So you're talking about the sensible options, which are the Meridian, the Tucson and the Tiguan, right?
Exactly. Like, look at the Jeep Meridian. It's like an elongated Jeep Compass.
Or if you actually look at this actually looks like a nice futuristic design. I like it.
And I love this design too. It's understated, classy, but at the same time looks much larger than any other Volkswagen premium SUV.
So basically 3 cars, 2 people and 1 video. Let's see how it goes.
If you're looking for individual reviews of all of these 3 cars, we have the links in the description right below.
So Pratik, you already have reviewed the Tucson, and I actually wanted to tell you when you reviewed the car that yes, I agree that the car looks very nice, looks futuristic, but I feel it's trying a little too hard. You know?
Come on, it looks unconventional, it looks radical, it looks refreshingly fresh. I mean, I would say this thing is a really good look.
Wait, let me stop you right there. See, you realize I'm somebody who likes understated looks, and that is where the Tiguan steps in.
Tiguan is classy AF. I love it.
So yeah, I mentioned that understated is what I like, and that is why I like the Tiguan. Apart from its color, of course.
I mean, it looks really classy. It sits low, it's wide, it's got clean lines all across. This is definitely something that will age gracefully.
Exactly, and that's why I agree. And when you're talking about aging gracefully and simplicity, what do you think about the Meridian?
Oh, let's take a look at it.
So yeah, like I mentioned, when you were talking about understated for the Tiguan, I actually kind of agree with you on the fact that it looks like an elongated compass. But that's not a bad thing, because the compass actually looks like a nice car to begin with.
Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, it does not carry that wide sense of appearance that both of those cars have.
Yeah.
But then, I think this is a much reasonable car because it gives you 1 extra seat, right?
Yeah, it's actually a 6-seater. So yeah, obviously compared to those, the 6-seater makes sense. Speaking of which, if you're somebody who has a large family and is looking for a 6-seater car, the Meridian is certainly the pick because it obviously has 6 seats, unlike the rest. But
the Tucson, on the other hand, is the newest kid on the block and is the only one amongst the 3 that has level 2 ADAS.
So while the Tiguan might be understated, it might look like a 3-piece suit, but you're forgetting the fact that it is a hooligan on the inside. And that is what I want to show you later on.
Great. Now all of these cars are offered in 4-wheel drive. So we're going to test them and let you know how exactly are all of these 3 cars and which one out of these it makes a good premium SUV, or do they all?
So we are currently sitting inside the Jeep Meridian, and while I am going to give a first impression of how it is to drive, Pratik, who's sitting at the back, is going to talk about the interior as a whole. Now, talking about the Jeep Meridian, it is powered by a 2-liter diesel engine, and yes, this is only available in the diesel option that produces around 168 bhp and 320 Nm. Pratik, what do you think about the rear as such?
Well, I do like the interiors and the colors here, but since the driving position is set at your seating position, I have very limited knee space here. In fact, my knees are already touching your seat.
Okay. Well, Pratik, while things might be slightly grim on the rear, things at the front is quite different because the way this car drives is actually pretty well. It holds the road very nicely. The brakes are pretty decent, and yes, because of the diesel engine, you have a humongous amount of torque. And this gearbox also makes the shifts really smooth and nice. So as a whole, for the driving, yes, it is pretty beneficial. And you also have to remember the fact that this has a whole lot of 4-wheel drive options. Like you have these off-road modes that allow you to take this car anywhere you want to go to. So yeah, if you ask me, if you're thinking of the family thing, what do you think? Will it make sense?
Well, I think it will fill a family, but if you're a family of tall people, you might want to just sit and check how exactly this car feels to you. Apart from it, this panoramic sunroof adds a lot of room to the entire interior space, and I would not want to sit on those third row seats.
It's like a punishment for somebody
No.
sitting in the car, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, it's well suited for like shorter journeys, and maybe your pets and your kids are best suited for that seat. Also, these second row seats recline. I'm at the maximum recline angle,
Okay.
but yet again, the under thigh support feels a bit lacking at the back. How does it feel to you in the front?
So if you ask me, I am seated pretty well. The seating, like you mentioned, the seating is on my style, the way I want to sit, and actually have a good amount of view of the surroundings. The mirrors are nice and large. I don't have any blind spots per se. And overall, if you ask me, the view is very good for the outside, which is something a lot of people will appreciate in a size of this SUV, because the SUV is kind of big compared with the rest.
Well, I wouldn't say that it's very big, especially when my knees are touching your seat.
So Pratik, while I was talking about the overall engine and the performance, you have to mention, like there is one thing I have to mention about this car, and that is the fact that this is actually a 4x4 with a whole lot of 4x4 functionality as well, where you don't only have the drive modes, but you actually have like a nice 4x4 locking system and a lot more, which actually make this car quite capable.
I think for the price that these cars are offered at,
Yeah.
this functionality really brings a lot of form of function, and it also brings shared parts cost effectiveness to the end user, right? Because I mean, as I can see, the steerings on all of these cars are shared with their siblings. The interior parts as well, most of it, at least the design or some parts of it, if not the finish,
Yeah.
but most of it is shared. So thereby cost effectiveness is the point where these cars bring, but that extra added premium features and that little feel of premiumness is something that is offered at this price point, which makes them really compelling for them.
Exactly. So that's exactly why the point where these are more value for money proposition that I'm talking about steps into equation, because these, like all three cars that we're going to drive, this and the other two, are obviously a more value for money proposition.
This entire configuration, it adds more seats, but it sort of pulls away the premium space that that the other cars are offering.
Okay. Let's see what the Tucson has to offer.
Sure enough. We're now seated in the Tucson. The Hyundai Tucson feels very different than all of these cars. Do you know why?
Why, Pratik?
I think it's because of this light interior color along with this metal accents. Oh my goodness,
Oh, yeah.
this thing really looks premium.
Speaking about premium, so the one very important aspect for premium is space.
Yup.
And like you were complaining with the Meridian where it has no space, this I have amples of space inside. And
know.
let's not forget the fact that actually the passenger seat, with these buttons that you have, you can actually make it move even further forward, and it could actually be an S-Class, which is damn impressive.
I know.
Plus,
Yeah.
I can recline the seat quite a bit to make myself really comfortable at the back. And because you mentioned about the leather seats and their nice light finish, it actually makes the cabin very airy.
Exactly. This panoramic sunroof also adds to the entire effect, doesn't it?
Yeah. But how
And-
is it to drive? Sorry, Pratik. but-
So, this car is now offered in two variants.
Okay.
Now, internationally, it gets a lot many variants, but in India, it's only offered in a 2-liter petrol and a 2-liter diesel. Specifications are mentioned below. What this really does is brings a lot of refinement to the table, both in the diesel and the petrol as well. Now, petrol is offered because it is the growing choice,
Yeah.
but the diesel variant is something of a different beast altogether. It brings almost twice the amount of torque, almost 1/3 the amount of BHPs on the tables. Thereby,
Yeah.
it totally transforms the way the Tucson drives, especially when you're driving the diesel.
And you have to also remember the fact that this also gets level 2 of ADAS, which nothing else gets, which is
Absolutely.
very impressive.
Absolutely impressive. 19 features of level 2 ADAS. That's insane. I mean, you can ideally drive this without touching the steering wheel on a
Yeah.
straight road, which you shouldn't.
Which you shouldn't,
But
obviously.
there are safety features. The safety net is huge.
Yeah.
And today, you know, I mean, when you think of a convenient premium offering, you also think about safety features.
Exactly, yes.
And this is a very good addition to the Tucson. I mean, like, the Tucson was a good car before, but now it's become better.
See, so basically, it's not like all the other cars aren't safe. All the cars are safe in the segment, but the advantage of the ADAS that you have, where it offers that cap of safety that you have when you're driving, when you're somebody who's driving on the highway a lot, or when you're just somebody who wants to have that peace of mind that, oh, I have safety features backing me, the ADAS obviously makes sense. And again, like I mentioned, but like speaking on what you're actually talking about, if you look at the overall interior as well, it has a nice premium feel. Like you mentioned, the nice piano black finish on the door, the chrome accents that you have, all of those things really make it a nice premium feeling, premium looking SUV.
On the outside, this car feels a whole lot sporty, but on the inside, it feels minimalistic, doesn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, it has that nice lines that sort of go all the way across the cabin, and it all meets towards the driver's cockpit, completing the entire symmetry of this car. It feels really nice. Also, this whole orientation of the dash, it's towards the driver, makes it feels really nice as a driver when you're sitting here. Also, the lighter steering wheels.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that steering wheels are getting lighter progressively, but then doesn't it open a whole lot customer base for all of these SUV buyers? Because now newer drivers and women and even aging drivers won't be as intimidated to drive a large SUV thanks to all of these lighter steering wheels.
No, I agree with you on that, because see, we get it that like us petrol heads really love like steering wheel that's really hard and makes you feel the corner and all of those things. But you have to look at it from a perspective that the majority people who are buying these cars are somebody who wants the ease of driving, ease of living with the car. And if you, like you mentioned, the light steering wheel, when you look at all of these factors, they actually make it very convenient to live with in the city, or even when you want to park the car. So actually you don't feel the overall width and the dimensions of the car with the light steering wheel and the overall with all the safety packages that you have.
Agreed.
It actually makes it quite a good package.
Exactly. I mean, this is one of those cars that you would really want to be driven in. Right?
Exactly, yes.
I mean, even if you have a premium budget and you ever just want to be driven around, this amount of space that you get at the rear, it feels premium. It feels that you have spent some more. It feels that you've grown better in your life.
It's not like you're compromising on something for the space. You're getting everything plus the space.
Exactly.
Which is obviously making it a good value for money proposition. And that is exactly what we're looking at.
And also, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this is also the cheapest starting point for this car amongst the three, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
so
this one starts at close to around
33 lakhs ex-showroom.
Yeah. So 33, I think this one starts at around less than 30.
I will have to, so that's what, have a look in the comments below, like, have a look below and yeah, you'll find out.
Sure.
And I know you guys are going to comment and say, no, it is this much. I would love to see what you guys think.
Well,
without Googling
let's go into the Tiguan now.
Certainly.
All right? Cool.
So yeah, like you were talking about the sporty aspect, right? It's not only like the interior and there's no pull, because this petrol engine is actually very potent. So if you look at the figures that you see below, it actually makes it quite a capable vehicle. And yes, you don't get a diesel option, but you're not really missing a diesel option, because the thing that you want from a diesel option is what is getting here. You're getting the refinement, you're getting the ease of driving, you're getting the performance, you're getting the comfort, and you're getting almost everything that you want, including the fact that you have driving modes, like you have a race mode, you have a sport mode.
Wow.
So you have all of these options which
So
actually make it.
This thing has a race mode.
It has a sport mode, it has a snow mode.
Alright.
So yeah, you can actually go through multiple modes depending on what you want.
Alright.
Plus, this car is the only car to have paddle shifters. So
Yeah, among
sporty,
the three, right? Yeah.
But Pratik, what do you think about the space?
I mean, I love the space. It's much better than the Meridian, but again, I really miss the amount of space that is offered in the Tucson. You know, it is just a tad bit more than this, but this is not a uncomfortable space at all at the rear. In fact, just a while ago, we were three people sitting here, and because of this elevated seat position, the shoulder room is also much comfortable in the Tiguan.
And even if like talking about features, it's not like the Tiguan is not loaded with features. Yes, it misses out on some things that I feel it should have had, such as ventilated seats. Where you're getting it in the other two cars, you're not getting in this. You only get heated seats, which doesn't make sense for like Bombay. But yeah, if you're in a northern city or in a city that gets cold very often, that obviously helps.
Agreed.
Yeah, so, but then again, like, you remember the point we were talking about safety, where we were talking about ADAS being really safe? It is not like this isn't safe. Like I mentioned, the other two are safe as well, but this also offers a whole bunch of safety tech for passengers, because we Indians are getting really important and really finicky about safety as such.
Alright. One thing I noticed is that the overall cutout design of the dashboard feels similar to that of the Tiguan and even the Virtus, to be honest. I mean, don't you exactly feel the same? I mean, I would have loved a different design on the premium one. Although I think the infotainment system has some added functionalities.
Yeah, so but again, when you look at the Volkswagen family as a whole, let it be the Virtus, let it be the Tiguan, what I feel is that, see, the only downside that I have with the Tiguan is this, wherein I like the entire family's design, I like the entire family's interior, but if you're spending that premium for the Tiguan, you're not getting that premiumness on the inside with regards to like your infotainment screen and your AC controls, because that looks exactly the same like the Tiguan and the other cars, which is not bad because they look very nice and they do a good job.
Yep.
But you know, when you're paying that premium, you want a little bit more like you're getting in the other cars.
I mean, yes, there is some added multi-textured feel that you have for the black. I mean, it's not all monotone black altogether.
Exactly.
There's hard plastic, there's also some gloss plastic texture, there's also some padded feel all around, and all of this is finished in black though, thereby it gives that sort of sporty feel to it.
Yeah.
Apart from it, I think the engine totally makes up for it. Yeah? I mean, at this price point, getting that kind of an engine, I mean,
So,
that
exactly, so-
itself does it for it.
Exactly. So if you ask me, if I have to summarize the three cars, I would say the Meridian is somebody, like we mentioned, is for the family. You want 6 seats, you want somebody who you can take around comfortably. That makes sense. The Tucson is somebody, it's catered more towards people who want to be chauffeur driven. They want that chauffeur experience because of the rear seat space. And this is catered more towards people who like driving their cars more. Because
Exactly.
this can obviously, like you mentioned, there is space at the back. But I'm presuming that you would be ready to switch seats with me immediately if you could
I would,
get the chance.
at
wouldn't you?
a dime's drop.
And yeah, I got the seat, by the way, because I won a game of stone, paper, scissors with him.
all right.
So yeah.
So, also there's something that this car has that both those other cars don't, right? Like the active cylinder technology. Like it shuts down 2 cylinders out of the 4, and thereby saves you fuel as well.
Exactly. So when you're talking about the ACT technology, you have to also remember the fact that a lot of people who are going to buy this car are wanting to get the most mileage that they can, and the ACT technology is really going to help them, because we as Indians really enjoy the high mileage cars. And when you're spending so much money on getting a petrol car, you would always love that fact that you have that measure to keep your wallet in check as well, isn't it?
Agreed. Although it's black, there's like these dual tone finishes. The top is in this light grey finish, while the other half of this car, which is where we are seated, is all black. But this panoramic sunroof and the amount of light that it sort of throws at the cabin, it brings a whole lot of roominess to the entire experience. I mean, I wish we could have got this experience in the budget Volkswagen cars, but this is the premium feel of a premium SUV, isn't it?
So with that, Pratik, what we have helped the audience is by giving them a perspective of how it is to drive, and most of these cars, how they are to drive and how they are in the front seat and the back seat, obviously.
Exactly. And also interiors are so different on all of these cars, and yes, there is a good amount of premiumness to them, but I really wish that the Meridian had more space on the second row. I mean, that would have added to the whole premium SUV factor. But let's just think of it like yin and yang, because when it does not really offer you that good amount of leg space, it does have some additional seats. So additional people any day over space, right?
Exactly, yes. So Pratik, and you folks, if you remember at the start of the video, what I said was 3 cars, 2 people and 1 video. So what I actually tried to show in this video, and what I wanted Pratik to help me out, was to show you the fact that yes, premium cars are very good and you have luxury brands. But if you look at this package, it's quite a good package, isn't it?
Yeah, none of these are like Mercedes or Audi or the BMW branding that they bring to the table. But all of these have 4x4 capabilities, almost all-wheel drive capabilities. They have a lot of premium features and they bring a lot more to the table at just fraction of the price, right?
Exactly, that was my entire point. For instance, you get diesel engines, petrol engines, like you mentioned 4x4. So if you look at it as a whole, my question to you folks is, would you really want to spend the money for the brand value, or would you much rather have the value for money opinion? Let me know in the comments down below. And until then, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to BBC Top Gear Magazine India. This is Yash Sunil and
I'm
Prateek.
Prateek signing off.
Bye-bye.